Welcome to my bookshelf tour. I am so excited to make this video. I have been wanting to do a bookshelf tour for years now, and now that I have a reason and a YouTube channel, I can finally post my bookshelf tour and talk all about how I organize my bookshelves. You can see a little sneak peek of my bookshelves behind me here, but the reason I'm doing this bookshelf tour now is, first of all, it's almost the end of 2025, and second, I have the Billy bookcases with one row of the extenders on top, and I'm running out of space for books. I have a bunch of books on the floor that I have no space. I have been like pushing more books in the shelves. So I thought, because we have really high ceilings, I can fit another row of extenders on the bookshelf. And that means there's also a bookshelf reorganization coming. I kind of love my bookshelves as they are. I'm going to show you later in like an overview of the room. We are in the living room, by the way, that my boyfriend and I share, and we have this huge wall with all bookshelves. And I have organized it kind of by color, but also kind of by genre. I tried to go like from light to light colorful to dark at the bottom, just so my brain has some sort of color organization that it can grab onto, which I've always found that sometimes I need it. Sometimes I need a little bit of a color organization to feel peace when looking at my bookshelves. However, I am very unhappy with the way they are organized. I mean, I'm going to talk about it later. Looking at the shelves, I feel fine because they're color organized, but as soon as I look deeper into the shelves and go nearer to them, I realize things that I don't like about the shelves. For example, some of my all-time favorite books have dark covers. And with dark covers, that means they're at the bottom, and we have the sofa in front of parts of the bookshelves. And that means that the sofa is pretty much in front of some of my favorite books. And that just seems wrong to me now. We've lived in this apartment for almost a year, so I've had these shelves like this for about a year, and I've kind of grown sick of it. I kind of want to change things up a little. All of that to say, I want to immortalize the way they are now. I want to make this a yearly thing. I want to post a bookshelf tour every year to like see how the collection changes and grows over time. Without further ado, I will stop rambling and I will give you guys an overview and like tell you a little bit more about how I organized them by genre in the shelves, and then we're gonna get into the nitty-gritty bookshelf tour. And I'm so excited to have you guys along with me, and I wish you the best time. I love bookshelf tours. This is going to be so much fun. Okay, so as you can see, I tried to kind of coordinate them by color a little bit, which worked better or worse in some parts, but I tried to put like white books at the top and then colorful and pastel books beneath that, and then moving to dark books. I also tried to do like some more fantasy heavy books there, some nostalgic YA books, my fantasy romance shelf mostly, and some of my romance and also other stuff that I didn't have a space for. I apologize, but I am an insanely unorganized person. This is really kind of all over the place. There are series that are split up, authors that are split up, and I just want to organize it in a better way, if that makes sense. But look-wise, I really enjoy this. It's kind of my way of color organizing, but also not doing a rainbow shelf. Yeah, but it could be better. The shelves could be better, and I will get the extenders and then I will reorganize everything. But this is the state of it right now. Let's start at the top left. We have the Cruel Prince series or universe. We have the Elfheim extended universe, which I've all read this year. I didn't really care for these that much, but I really did enjoy the Cruel Prince series. Then we have the Poppy War trilogy with the second book missing because I lent that out to a friend. We have this edition of Lore with these stunning sprayed edges. I bought this secondhand and I didn't know that the edges would be like that, and I was so incredibly happy when it arrived. This was a great story, Greek mythology, but in a different way. I really enjoyed this. Then we have Mistborn, which I still haven't read, but really want to this year. We have A Breath of Winter, which obviously I want to read in the winter. And then we have Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard and Kill the Queen and Protect the Prince by Jennifer Estep. And this book by Jennifer Armentrout, it's kind of a spin-off series to the Obsidian, which I loved the Obsidian universe when I was a kid. This is kind of just nostalgic to me, but I really like how this shelf looks with all the blue and white. Here I also tried to color organize it a little bit, but this is kind of like some of my higher fantasy and Asian fantasy books. We have Prairie of the Orange Tree on the left. In Germany, those books are split into 2 books each. So I have read the first half, but I haven't read the second half yet. Then we have some of my Asian fantasy books. Fathom Folk, She Who Became the Sun, The Floating World, The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea. Then we have Her Radiant Curse, 6 Crimson Cranes duology, and a miscellaneous Emily Wilde book, which I accidentally ordered the wrong cover of, but it was too late to return it, so I kind of kept it next to this green book. We have One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillick, which I've loved. Then we have the Crescent City trilogy and also Fury Born, book 1 and 2. I'm really excited to read this because I've been dying to, but once again, I haven't gotten around to it yet. And then we have one English copy of Crescent City, which I bought when it came out because I really wanted to read it immediately. Okay, so this is a weird shelf. I have no idea how to explain it, but I do love the candle. That was a recent addition to the shelves. We have The Invisible Life of Eddie LaRue and Ninth House. Oh my god. This is terrible. Okay, that's better. We have Ninth House and the Alex Stern series. Then we have Song of Silver and Daughter of the Moon Goddess, which are also Asian fantasies, but they didn't fit with the colors at the top. Then we have the Era Woken series by Elise Kova. I haven't read all of those yet. Then we have Thrones and Curses by Laura Sebastian. I was surprised at how much I liked the first one, but I haven't continued the series yet. And we have King of Scars and Rule of Wolves, which is one of the things that's been bothering me because obviously they belong in the Grishaverse and the Grishaverse is somewhere else entirely. But I read the first one and I really liked it. And again, I need to continue the series. Again, a very chaotic shelf. I know it doesn't make sense. It doesn't even make sense in my brain, but we have some of my nostalgic books, which is Harry Potter, and all of the Cassandra Clare books, which I've only read this series. I haven't read the Infernal Devices series yet, but I really want to. We also have the special edition books of Daughter of Smoke and Bone. These are gorgeous. I love these so much, but I haven't read them yet. I loved Strange the Dreamer, but I just haven't gotten around to reading these, but these are so gorgeous. I bought these for myself when I graduated university with my bachelor's degree because I wanted to treat myself to a little something, and these were those books. Then we have the A Song of Ice and Fire series, which I started to read but haven't finished yet, and the Serpent and Dove trilogy, which I've read this year, and I really enjoyed that series. Again, a little bit of a nostalgic section. I read these books when I was younger and I really enjoyed them. I don't know what they're called in English, but they're by C.C. Hunter. Then we have Caraval, my one singular copy in that edition. We have the Emily Wilde series. We have Witches Steeped in Gold, the Fairy Loot edition, and 3 Greek mythology books that are here for some reason. And then Heir of Storms, the Fairy Loot special edition, which is gorgeous. I have been dying to pick this up again because it's so pretty and I've heard only good things about it, but all in due time. Recent addition to the shelf, we have Blood Over Bright Haven, which is my book club pick for the month, actually my in-person book club. Then we have Mistress of Lies, which I think was an Illumicrate book, Year of the Reaper and Babel, A Midsummer's Nightmare. And then we have the Caraval special editions, which I want to read this year. We have 5 Broken Blades by Mai Corland. And then we have my favorite series of all time, the Vampire Academy and Bloodlines series by Rochelle Mead. I love this series to bits. No one can convince me that these are not a masterpiece. I love them so, so much, and I need more people to read these, especially Bloodlines, because the covers are atrocious and I feel like people don't know that they exist, even if they loved Vampire Academy. And I love Bloodlines even more than Vampire Academy, which says a lot. And I reread these every year. I love them so, so much. Yeah. Anyway, if you loved Vampire Academy, please go pick up Bloodlines. They are amazing. And then at the bottom here, we have, again, some more sentimental books, which I've read when I was younger. We have Promised by Kira Cass, Iskari, Raybearer, which I haven't read yet. Then we have the Panem series. Then we have the Winner's Curse trilogy by Marie Rutkowski. I only read the first one. We have this series by Kristen Kishore. I'm not sure what it's called in English. We have Six of Crows and the Grishaverse down here, and also Nevernight, which I still haven't read, but I adore these covers, and I'm not sure when I will get around to it, but I really need to read this. I am itching again to read these. On the top, on the next shelf, we have Quicksilver with the reversible dust jacket outside, because I just enjoy this one a lot more. We have some books that I read when I was younger. Then we have V.E. Schwab's Galen. I own only 2 books by V.E. Schwab, and I really didn't enjoy The Invisible Life of Eddie LaRue that much, so I've been kind of hesitant. Also, I don't think I should start the rest of her books with Gallant. I think there's other books that I should read before that. Then we have Uprooted by Naomi Novik, which I loved. And this book by Julie Kagawa. This is like a vampire YA story, which I really enjoyed when I was 13, but I feel like I need to unhaul some books that I don't really care for. Then we have one of my favorite series of all time, again, by Jennifer Armentrout, which is the White Hot Kiss series. I don't hear anyone talk about these books, and I loved them so much when I was younger. These really shaped me into the person that I am today. You will have heard of them already if you've watched my favorite books of all time video. I think these are so incredibly underrated. We have Nemesis by Anna Banks, we have Bitter Frost and Hard Frost by Jennifer Estep, and Black Blade by Jennifer Estep. Another shelf with kind of sentimental books. We have the Ruby Red series here by Kerstin Gier. This is very famous in Germany. I don't know how famous they are in other countries, but this is kind of like a going back in time kind of love story, and these was so much fun. And I can't wait to reread these because they were so much fun. Then we have some spin-off books to Obsidian by Jennifer Armentrout. We have the Twilight series with Life and Death. Here we have the Kiss of Deception stories. I only read the first one. I haven't continued. Well, I haven't continued the series yet. Then we have Siren by Kira Cass, which is an insanely interesting siren human love story. And we have the second and the third book in the From Blood and Ash series by Jennifer Armentrout. I only have these in English for some reason. I have all the other books in German, but they're here for now. And then we have Shield of Sparrows, which I recently read and really enjoyed. Now this shelf makes a little bit more sense. I read these all kind of in the same time, and this is kind of like my Jennifer Armentrout shrine because I own a lot of her books. I used to read her religiously when I was a teenager. We have this series by Jennifer Armentrout, which is a spin-off series to the Covenant series. I have no idea what they're called, to be quite honest, but I enjoyed them a lot. Then this is the Dark Element series, which is basically the White Hot Kiss series, but in German. I like these covers a lot more. I just wanted to reread them in English sometime. That's why I own the English books as well. Here we have Fourth Wing, at least the third books that are out already. Vespertine by Margaret Rogerson. And my 2 editions of The Night and the Moth, which I bought the English one so I could read it on release day. But then I couldn't pass up this stunning German edition with the artwork on it. This is just so pretty and I love it. And then we have To Tempt a God, which I also find really pretty. For some reason, German books have been kind of popping off lately. Yeah. So this is kind of my metallic cover shelf, as you can see. Here we have mostly Jennifer Armentrout, and then also 2 series that I didn't have another place for. We have the Prison Healer series, which I haven't read yet, and these Hollow Vows and these Twisted Bonds, which I have read. And then this is all Jennifer Armentrout. This is the Obsidian series with 3 spin-off books. And then we have these books, which is the Wicked Torn Brave series by her. This is about like Fae, I think. And this is a rebind that I did, which I'm kind of proud of. I haven't done many rebinds, so I'm not insanely good at it. But I really, really enjoy this. And I had a double of the first book, so I did this. On the left, we have A Curse So Dark and Lonely, which I read this year, and I really enjoyed it. Also, I think the covers, again, are stunning. I really enjoyed the first one. I didn't like the other 2 that much. We have Alchemized, which I haven't read yet because it scares me. The Courting of Bristol Keats. And then the Spin the Dawn series by Elizabeth Lim. We have, again, some miscellaneous books. This is kind of like, I think it's called Fallen by Lauren Kate. This is like an angel story. And I loved those, and I haven't come across anything like it ever again. So I kind of keep them for now. But also this is kind of like a blue theme. We have The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon, Mysteries of Thorn Manor, and Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson, The Serpent and the Wolf by Rebecca Robinson, and Ruin and Wrath, again by Jennifer Armentrout. Then we have another series by Jennifer Estep. Ooh, don't mind my sleeves. City of Dust and Shadows, Red Umbrella Society, and the These Violent Delights duology. We have these 2 books, A Song of Wrath and Ruin and A Psalm of Storm and Silence, which I haven't read yet. We have The Luminaries. This is 3 books, but I'm currently also trying to read the 3rd one. These were kind of a letdown for me, sadly, but I bought these because of the covers, and I still think they're absolutely gorgeous. It's just a bummer that they weren't that good. We have Ever After and A Touch of Darkness and A Touch of Ruin by Scarlett St. Clair. And then this edition of the Book of Azrael, which is also insanely pretty, if you ask me. This is a German special edition, but it is stunning. And at the bottom here we have Poison Study, a German book, Ash Princess, which I loved. I love this, and I also don't hear people talk about it much, but also the covers are stunning and the books are insanely good as well. We have Heartless by Sarah Wolf, For She Is Wrath, and To Cage a God, which are Illumicrate special edition books. And then we have the An Ember in the Ashes series. I have the first one twice because I got delivered the wrong cover, and I'm still missing the 4th one because I cannot seem to find the 4th book in this edition. And then we have the Covenant series by Jennifer Armentrout, which I loved. This is kind of like a Greek mythology kind of story with half-bloods and pure-bloods and a forbidden love story, and these are also insanely underrated. I love those. This is my little middle shelf in the corner. We have Blood of Hercules. I love the cover. The book is objectively very badly written, but I loved it because I knew what I was getting into, and this was just so much fun. This kind of has a similar vibe to Zodiac Academy. Then we have Iron Empire, Girl Serpent Thorn, and Gilded by Marissa Meyer, next to Heartless by Marissa Meyer, and I love these covers. German covers aren't often very pretty, but this and this, I think, is stunning. This is kind of like my Fairy Loot and Illumicrate special edition kind of shelf. I have a lot more than these, but these kind of fit together, I thought. We have Never After, A Language of Dragons, The Rose Bargain, The Glittering Edge, and Immortal Consequences, all by Fairy Loot. And this is To Gaze Upon Wicked Gods, which was in an Illumicrate book box that I had last year. But I have to admit that I have not read any of these. I am so bad at keeping up with my subscription box books that I think out of 41 subscription box books that I have received in the last 2 years, I think I've only read like 3, which is terrible when you think about it, because they are insanely expensive, but also insanely pretty. So I kind of need to do something about that. This is some of my all-time favorite books in the shelf, but also continuing the metallic looking books. We have This Woven Kingdom, These Infinite Threads, and All This Twisted Glory by Tahira Mafi. I've only read the first one in the series yet, but I loved it so much. I've been waiting for the 4th book to come out so that I can continue the series. And then we have Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. Again, in Germany, those 2 books are split into 2 each. So we have 4 books. That's why this says book 1 and book 2, book 3 and book 4. And I adore these covers. It is not possible, I think, to get these covers in the English version anymore. I think they went out of print. That's why I bought them in German, because this is just so much prettier than the other covers that are available. But I love these with my entire heart. They were so magical. I get that they're a bit slow, but the stories in this was incredibly well written and incredibly heartwarming and touching, and I love these so much. I love Shatter Me. I have a big collection of Shatter Me books. Well, not big like other creators have, but fairly big for that they're all the same books. We have one of the first editions of Shatter Me, then we have this box set. We have the novellas and the 3 books that come after the series, which it is so incredibly annoying to me that these have a different font than these. But when I bought these, they weren't available with this font. They only came out a little bit after that. And I kind of got these now. And I haven't read them yet either. So it wouldn't have been terrible to wait a few months for them to match. But I guess it doesn't really matter. And then we have the German books that I've read, which inspired my love for Shatter Me, which the covers are not very pretty. Yeah, but these are the ones that I annotated, at least the 2nd and the 3rd book I annotated, so I wanted to keep these. This is like the real Shatter Me shrine. We have these gorgeous editions of the books. I love them so much. They are so pretty. I just couldn't pass them up. My dream would be to have, I think, the Fairy Loot edition. These are like 600 bucks when I buy them used, and I just cannot justify that. So I will stick with these for now. They are really pretty and I love them. Down here we have The Stars Are Dying, which is the indie published version that I bought a few years ago. And then these covers came out, which I love so much. It's just a shame that I really didn't like this book. I bought the 2nd one anyway because it's stunning, but I think I might have to get rid of these. And at the bottom here we have my 10th anniversary edition of A Court of Thorns and Roses. This is kind of what the book looks like. It is actually really stunning. It is really a shame that this book is on the bottom and no one can really see it. And it's kind of also why I want to do a reorganization of my bookshelves, because some of my prettiest books are dark books, and having them at the bottom is just really sad to me. With this edition as well, this is This Woven Kingdom. I think the bookish box edition, which I bought secondhand, but since I loved the first one so much, I love this book. It's just so pretty, and I wanted to make my middle shelf kind of like my pretty books. Yeah, but I think this kind of also explains why I need to do a reorganization very badly. Yeah, so we have Heartless here by Marissa Meyer. In Germany, they changed the title to Star-Crossed Hearts, but I adore this cover and I have been dying to read Heartless. Then we have King of Battle and Blood by Scarlett St. Clair, Midnight Chronicles by a German author, and Hard Liquor by a German author. She writes books about people who get superpowers from eating or drinking certain food. And so this book is about a heroine who gets magical powers when she is drunk, and that is insanely interesting. She also has one that gets powers from Asian food and one that gets powers from fries. And then we have my Throne of Glass paperbacks, the original ones that I read when I was younger. I don't have any other editions of these yet because they are really expensive. But someday I will have a gorgeous new edition of these books, because I really don't care that much for the white spines, colorful covers, and this terrible person that's on the front. We have, down here, we have the Plated Prisoner series by Raven Kennedy. Oh, this is the wrong way. As I said, I'm very disorganized, so that just happens. Anyway, this is the Plated Prisoner series. I have read 1, 2, 3, and 4. I haven't yet read book 5 or 6, but I will definitely do that. Then we have Wicca Creed by a German author, and we have the German editions of A Court of Thorns and Roses. I actually hate the colorful paperbacks that were newly released. I hate them so much that I kept this terrible German edition. It's not very pretty, but it's also not insanely ugly, so I'm fine with that. Also, I can't get rid of these books because a friend annotated them for me. That is just such a nice thing to do that I just can't get rid of them ever. I love that so much. Yeah, and then we have Blood and Moonlight and Silence and Shadow by Aaron Beattie. This book is kind of like a Criminal Minds meets fantasy, and that was incredibly interesting to read. I love Criminal Minds. I rewatch Criminal Minds like every year, and this was really cool to read. There was a little bit of a romance plot in this as well. It was just something that I hadn't read before, and it was really interesting. Here we have kind of like my purples and pinks shelf. We have Belladonna, Foxglove, and Wisteria by Adeline Grace. I loved all of these. Then we have Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows, The Hurricane Wars, and The Kinder Poison by Natalie May. You might think that these books are upside down. They are actually not. For some reason, in Germany, the spines are printed upside down, which is terrible. I have no idea who came up with that idea and why, but it's so incredibly aggravating. Anyway, then we have Metal Slinger, the indie published version, and the Fairy Loot special edition that arrived this month. And it is stunning. Let me just remove the dust jacket. It is rare that I love a book without the dust jacket more than with the dust jacket on, but this is one of these books. This is so stunning naked that I actually don't want to put the dust jacket back on. I will just take this candle away and put the dust jacket next to it. I will do it better later, but yeah. Then we have by Elise Kova, A Deal with the Elf King and A Duel with the Vampire Lord. I have only read this one yet, but I really enjoyed it, so I kind of want to read this. I feel like vampires are great for fall. And then we have the Once Upon a Broken Heart series, which I need to show you. These are like German special edition books, and the spines and the sprayed edges of these are absolutely stunning. I love these so much, but I have been kind of afraid to put them with the sprayed edges outside so they don't get damaged by the sun. So that's why I had them the other way around. But these are stunning. And then we have The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy, which I think most people have heard of by now. I really enjoyed this. This was kind of really funny, and I loved the mortifying ordeal of being in love as well, which is a fanfic by the same author. Yeah, it just fits here really well with the pink cover. This is an insanely weirdly organized shelf. We kind of have like cozy fantasy to the left and then horny fantasy to the right, minus Games with an Orc, which is also a horny book. We have Servant of Earth by Sarah Hawley, which I'm really excited to read this fall. And then we have A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon, A Demon's Guide to Wooing a Witch, and A Werewolf's Guide to Seducing a Vampire, which I've all read this fall and really liked. Then we have Rewitched, which I also recently read. And we have The Wedding Witch by Erin Sterling, which I think is the third book in the X-Hex trilogy, but this is kind of like a Christmas book and I read it last year. Then we have the Broken Bonds series, which is a reverse harem kind of story The writing is objectively not great, but these were just such a fun time to read. They also kind of remind me a little bit of Zodiac Academy. Then we have my Ice Planet Barbarians collection. I'm getting all of these covers as they come out. There's a new book, I think, that is already on its way. And then we have 3 books by Katie Robert, which are kind of like a monster romance series. And we have The King's Spinster Bride by Ruby Dixon, which is the same author as these, which is actually a novella from a different series of hers, which I didn't know when I bought it, so I was really confused. And Fire in the Blood by Ruby Dixon, which is kind of like a dragon shifter romance. This is again one of my blue shelves, and it's actually also one of my special edition book box shelves, because for some reason a lot of these special edition book boxes come in with greenish, bluish or purplish colors. We have Air by Sabaa Tahir, The Wren in the Holly Library, Voyage of the Damned, which is Illumicrate, Goddess of the River, Fear the Flames of Jade and Dragons, The Principle of Moments, A Dark and Running Tide, Heavenly Bodies, which I really didn't like, Warrior Princess Assassin, and then When the Moon Hatched, We Hunt the Flame, A Song to Drown Rivers. This is incredibly underrated. A Song to Drown Rivers was one of my best books that I read last year, and I need more people to read this. I need more people to read this. This was stunning. And then we have Daughter of the Pirate King twice, because this is a special edition. Daughter of the Pirate King and Daughter of the Siren Queen, and To Kill a Kingdom. Then we have Until We Shatter, Where the Dark Stands Still, Tusk Love, which was 5 stars for me this year, which was surprising, but this is also a monster romance, and this was the coziest romance story ever. And then we have Cruelest Delight, which is another Fairy Loot subscription box. And yeah, well, I haven't read any of these special edition books. I think of this entire shelf, I've only read Heavenly Bodies, When the Moon Hatched, A Song to Drown Rivers, and these 3, as well as Tusk Love, which is less than a third, I think. And that needs to change. Moving on to kind of like my red shelf and or vampire shelf, which is a shame that this is behind the couch, because these are some of my favorite books and also my most stunning books. And it is also one of the reasons, again, why I want to do a reorganization very badly. We have The Crimson Moth and the Rebel Witch, Spark of the Everflame and Glow of the Everflame. Then Bonded by Thorns and Woven by Gold. They changed the covers of these in the middle of the series, and I refuse to buy the first 2 again, but in a different cover, so that I can have the whole series. So I kind of stopped reading these, even though they were a lot of fun. And we have the Fable series by Adrienne Young, Jade and Obsidian by June CL10, Bride by Ellie Hazelwood, Phantasma, Bound to the Shadow Prince by Ruby Dixon, and Court of the Vampire Queen by Katie Robert. These were some of my favorite books of this year, and I read them in January. This is The Darkness Within Us and The Shadows Between Us by Trisha Levenseller. I really enjoyed these, and they were so short and so easy to get through. Just so much fun. And we have The Veiled Kingdom, which was one of the worst books I've read in my entire life. Serpent and the Wings of Night, Ashes and the Star-Cursed King, Songbird and A Heart of Stone, as well as Slaying the Vampire Conqueror and 6 Scorched Roses, which also are in this universe. And 6 Scorched Roses was actually my highlight of this series. This was so good for no reason. It's a novella, and it was the best book of the series. We have Terror at the Gates, which I loved, and Where Shadows Meet, which I haven't read yet. At the bottom, we kind of, again, have a weird mix of series that I didn't like and horny books. We have Powerless, which I really didn't like. It put me in a reading slump that was so bad. Then Reckless, which I haven't read yet. Lightlark, Nightshade, and Skyshade. No, Lightlark, Nightbane, and Skyshade, which I really didn't like. I think at this point I'm not continuing the series, because I thought it was going to be a trilogy, but apparently she has extended it to, I think, 5 books, and I'm just not going to bother. We have this stunning edition of The Cruel Prince, which is actually like a velvet cover. I will not take this out now, but I think a lot of people know these, and I just got this off of Amazon, and it's so pretty. We have Daughter of No Wells in the discontinued edition. Again, I was too slow. And these books were sold out, and they changed the covers, and so I have no way of getting my hands on the second and third book in this edition, which is a shame, because I really liked this edition. Then we have Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. I really don't care for this series, and I think I'm going to unhaul these soon. And we have A Dark and Hollow Star and A Cruel and Faded Light. And these are insanely thick books. And I bought them because of the cover. Oh, and they were the wrong way. But I bought these because of the cover, because I think that this artwork is stunning. But I haven't read them yet, so I have no idea if the books are actually any good. Then we have my Duskwalker series, which is A Soul to Keep, A Soul to Heal, and A Soul to Touch, which I'm actually currently reading. I love these so much. I did not expect to like them that much, but I am a monster romance girly, and these were just everything to me. I loved the first one. I didn't like the second one so much, but I am really, really enjoying the third one again. So I will be continuing the series, I think. Then we have Whispers of the Deep by Emma Hamm, which is a merman monster romance. Mated to the Monster by Sarah Spade, which was fun, I guess, but nothing special. And then we have Morning Glory Milking Farm, which was terrible. I really didn't enjoy this. I think this was a step too far for me. I just couldn't get into him having a cow head. I think I like my monsters in monster romances at least kind of humanoid. This was not something that I enjoyed, to be honest, but I'm glad I read it because I heard a lot of people talk about it on TikTok. And now, at least, I know what all the hype was about. We have made it to my romance section, which is a short section. But we have Twisted Love, all these books. I really didn't like them that much, but I think the covers are stunning. Here we have the Maxton Hall series by Mona Kasten. The series recently came out, I think last year, and I really liked the series, so I wanted to read the books. And then we have Me Before You, once in German, once in English, and the second book in the series, which I never read and never will. So I need to unhaul this book. We have Vicious Love and Scandal Love by L.J. Shen. I don't remember reading these. I know I did read them, but I have no memory. And then we have two romance books by Jennifer Armentrout, which I really, really loved. I think not a lot of people know that Jennifer Armentrout also writes romance books. And I really like her romance books. I really like those two. And also, shout out to my friend who gifted me this candle when I was having a stressful time in university. This shelf is mostly planned, but I love this one so much. It's just so easy to care for and so pretty. Anyway, we have a fantasy series that I started some time ago and never continued. I have no idea if they're any good, and I will probably unhaul these as well. We have a little box with some leftover chargers, and then we have the Selection series, which again I read when I was very young, but I feel very sentimental towards these books, and so I'm keeping them for now. I have a problem with keeping books that I have fond memories of. Down here I have the spin-off series, which I also really enjoyed, but they're just down here because the covers are darker and it fit better on this shelf. Yeah, I recently got into Elsie Silver and I really enjoyed these books. I think I loved Flawless the most, actually. I'm not a fan of the single dad trope, so I think most of her books are not for me because I think she really enjoys writing that. Then we have my little Ellie Hazelwood collection. We have Check and Mate, The Love Hypothesis, Love Theoretically, Love on the Brain, and Deep End. For romance books, I think they're as good as it can get. Paris for One by Jojo Moyes, which I got gifted by a friend who went to Paris and brought this for me, and so I will be keeping it. I haven't read it yet, though. And we have The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which I still haven't read yet. I got this when it first was released, and I still haven't read this. I know, shame on me. I will read it eventually. And then we have Icebreaker. I bought Icebreaker on vacation because I forgot to bring a book, and I read it, and it was fun. I really don't hate it as much as most people. I mean, it was cringe in a lot of places, but it was fun anyway. And this plant is very pitiful. It is almost dead, and I will be replacing it, I guess, because it does not look good. I always forget to water this because this plant is always kind of in front, and so I kind of don't see this. Another wild mix of books. We have Uzumaki by Junji Ito, which I loved. We have European Stories, which is kind of a short story collection that I got from a book event some time ago. We have a few of my classics, which I have no idea what these titles are in English. We have a poetry book. We have, oh my god, what's it called? I have no idea what this is called, but this is kind of like a story that we had to read in school. And then we have Divergent by Veronica Roth. I really enjoyed this book when I was younger, and I've been keeping it for sentimental reasons again. Then we have the Percy Jackson series. I just had no idea where to put these, so I put them here. We have a book about a female pope by Donna W. Cross. I really like this. This is kind of like a historical story, and I really enjoyed this. We have my Arthur Conan Doyle collection books and more of my classics. We have Pride and Prejudice, Wuthering Heights, and Anna Karenina, which I've only read Pride and Prejudice out of the three of those because the rest kind of scares me, and Anna Karenina is like a huge book. Down here we kind of have like my darker romance books, which means darker in color but also darker in themes. We have this series by Samantha Young, which I really enjoyed when I was younger, but I don't know if they hold up. I haven't reread them in like 6 to 7 years. We have Neon Gods by Katie Robert, which I actually didn't like as much as I thought I would. Then we have another romance book by Jennifer Armentrout, but it was also kind of a mystery. It was wild. I don't feel anything towards that book. We have some Rockstar romance books and All In by Emma Scott. We have 3 more classics at the bottom, and they are here because they are darker again. We have Frankenstein, The Return of Sherlock Holmes, and Robinson Crusoe, which I have read none of these actually. And yeah, we have Maze Runner by James Dashner. And these books, I forgot again what the titles are. I'm sorry. This is like the story about the person who wakes up in a new body every day. But this was insanely interesting to read. And we have reached the final shelf. On my bookshelves, we have the Zodiac Academy series here. I only have the first 3 because I decided to only get the new book when I finished reading the one from before. Then we have the Mindfuck series, which I haven't read yet, but I'm so excited to. We have Den of Vipers, Haunting and Hunting Adeline, which I really need to get rid of. Hunt Me Darling, which I only bought because of a fan art. And then we have Vile Boys, Priest, Sinner, Saint by Sierra Simone. I only read Priest, and I'm not sure if I really liked it, so I haven't continued with the series yet. And then we have 3 Rena Kent books, which I read, and I'm not sure how I feel about them. We have Blood of My Monster, Lies of My Monster, Heart of My Monster. I'm not really a dark romance girly. I have discovered these are all the books that I've read, and I didn't like any of them, to be quite honest, but I thought I'd try them. And then we have Hideaway and Corrupt by Penelope Douglas. Again, they changed the cover mid-series, so I haven't continued the series, and I actually don't think I will. I think I will just be selling these books, and I'm just not a fan of dark romance personally. I think or I haven't read the right ones yet. Little shout out to my boyfriend's books. This is like the stack of books that my boyfriend owns. This is like a few Star Wars books, a few The Three Investigators books, and some fun thought experiment books. He loves like fun facts and stuff. And also this book, which I got him for Christmas. And it's just fun corgis in the entire book. I love this so much. Every time when I have a bad day, I just open this and look at them. Yeah. And then the books I'm currently reading, I am currently reading The Night Hunt by Alexandra Christo, which is kind of a monster story that's being hunted by other monsters. I love this so far. It's perfect for spooky season. And then, as I said, I am also reading A Soul to Touch by Opal Rain. I am really enjoying this so far, as you can see from the tabs. We also have this special edition of Daughter of No Worlds. I love this so much. The sprayed edges are stunning. Yeah. But this is the German edition. It's just so gorgeous. I couldn't get over it. And I will be reading this soon also. This is my filming corner. This is where I usually sit and film my videos. You may have seen them in the background already. But this is kind of the books that I don't have a space for currently. Since I'm hoping to expand my bookshelf soon, they will probably find a home there, but some of these are also books that I'm thinking of unhauling. Some books that just don't really fit anywhere theme-wise, but I'm hoping to get these off the floor soon. Yeah, I don't think we have to go through all of them. As I said, it's just a bunch of miscellaneous books that I don't have a space for. There's my October TBR here, all of the books that I want to read. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Also, I really love plants, and this plant has been so incredibly nice to me. As you can see, she just keeps growing, and this is a new leaf, which is insane. And they just get bigger and bigger, and I really have to repot her soon, but she is gorgeous. She's like one of my favorite plants ever. And that, my bookish friends, concludes the bookshelf tour of 2025. The first one, at least, because after I reorganized everything, I will probably make another one. But that is the first bookshelf tour of these bookshelves, and it is maybe the last time they will be color organized this way. I'm so excited. I think I'll wait till next month or December to buy the extenders, depending on how much money I can save up in the meantime. A little reminder for maybe some of you guys who are new to reading, I have been reading since I was 12, and I have been buying books since I was 12. And the only reason that my collection is this big already, I own 560 books roundabout. The only reason that it is already so big is that I have been collecting books since I was 12. And that is 11 years of reading and collecting books. I've always gotten rid of some, and I still need to unhaul a few books. But I just want all of you to remember, maybe with little collections that feel like you don't have enough books to be talking about them, which is not true, is that even with, I don't know, 20 books in your shelves, you have a bookshelf and you have a reason to talk about books. And yes, what I'm trying to say is just that please remember that I have had years, literally a decade, to collect all of my books. And if you don't own 500 books yet, that is absolutely fine. And if you own more than that already after less years of reading, that is also absolutely fine. I just wanted to throw this in because I've seen a lot of people say that they feel self-conscious because they don't own as many books. And I just want to say this. Thank you guys so much for watching the bookshelf tour of October 2025. I am so excited to see where this journey leads me. I have been wanting to make a YouTube channel since I was a kid, since I started reading when I was 12 years old, and I'm so excited that I finally got the courage to try it out. And it's been so much fun already. So thank all of you guys that are watching my videos. I really could not be more thankful for all of you. Thank you guys so much for watching this bookshelf tour to the end, and I'll see you guys in the next one.